And welcome back, everyone. Last we left off, some time ago, our heroes were traversing someone. Who am I hearing myself through?
You do.
I thought you don't have a headset.
Okay, sorry.
That
It's
guy's
just
like,
a little distracting. Alright, Last we left off some time ago at this point, our heroes were traversing an ancient Tabaxi city on the Isle of Durhamshard, marveling at the great power and feats of architecture the local culture had once been capable of before the great wars that devastated the globe during the collapse. I turned on the dinosaur caravan, the dinosaur went roar at exactly that moment. After spending a night atop a temple, you finished traversing the city and arrived at the opposite end of the valley in which it sits. Entering the tunnel, your guide asserted was the quickest way out. You soon found that what was once a Tabaxi-made tunnel had now become completely overgrown, with strange and abnormally large varieties of fungus, and the spores of which began to assail your senses, leading to a few dives off the rocky path. As you continued deeper into the cavern, you began to hear an eerie, discordant song of sorts, lingering at the edge of your hearing and perception, and a certain member of your party decided to try and focus on it, and then failed his charisma save, falling under the spell of the Myconid colony that had settled here. As the party rushed to catch their errand member, Turbius, running ahead of most of the group, came face to face with one of the Myconids, and despite the colony not being outwardly hostile, bifurcated it, leading to a long and arduous combat. Now we find ourselves in the cave, the Myconids slain. Already you begin to see the larger mushrooms throughout the chamber beginning to dim and wilt, their lives seemingly cut short by the death of the Sovereign. Many of you have taken some significant battering, but the day is still young, and, well, given the thick nature of the spores here, you do question how long you might want to stay amongst them. And the cave ahead of you is open.
Terbius, we're going to have serious words later on.
yes, if Terbius wasn't T-posing right now, we would need to smack him around a bit.
Yeah, three members.
That was an unnecessary amount of violence, young man.
Coming for the fighter. Figures, where is Torin? Oh, there he is. He's blending in with the orange mushrooms.
Yeah.
It's turned to camouflage.
Yeah, the area around you is just completely littered with Myconid corpses, many of them stacked on top of each other.
Sounds on my little shard.
Yeah, some are burned, some are cut to pieces, some are just smashed around, some of them have been eaten or chewed up by large animals. They all seem to be beginning to rot very quickly, as if their bodies are just decaying before your eyes.
We might not want to be here for very long, otherwise, something like a fool.
At least you didn't singe me too much.
That was
By the
the
way,
most controlled spell I could use. I could have easily tossed a fireball out there.
I'm kind of glad you didn't.
Glad to have you back on our side. Pats on back aggressively.
pushes over.
I didn't have control of my actions.
Who said anything
so
about
everyone-
control? I just said welcome back. Hey, you don't need to get so defensive there, bud.
It's more. This was more directed at the other member.
Oh, yeah, no, they're
over
mad
at
as
the
fuck
two
at you.
Dragonborn.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure if he wasn't a vampire, he'd still want to bite your head off.
By the way, Garish, what was the music like? There are very few who survived to tell the tale.
It's very calm and serene,
Like a distant angelic choir, faint and... I'm gonna close the window because there's a police thing going on.
Dude, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but it was fucking loud for me.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
I imagine it sounded quite well from inside the mines. It's a shame they're all gone. We could have had a wonderful conversation with them.
Yeah. I will say, Garish, while you were under the influence of it, you have no memory of anything that happened. One moment you were trying to listen to it, the next you were standing mid-combat, beat up a little.
And with a really bad sunburn.
Oh yeah.
Multiple sunburns.
I have ointment for that.
I have it some too.
Ah, we
Gonna
did divvy up
burn
the loot
rubber
dust.
or what?
What do you say, Lotsby?
Are we gonna hit the road?
it's
Probably
probably-
better.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's get out of this tunnel.
Yeah. I understand some of you might be tired, but it's not best to linger here.
Let's also have everybody do a Constitution saving throw, just as you continue to linger in these spores for a long period of time.
You'll have to do one for Garage.
It's not to linger, but we have been kind of lingering, so.
The best not to linger, it lingers away.
Yeah.
Meanders away slowly.
I have to roll for so many fucking people right now.
Yep.
Okay, so it's half of your proficiency bonus rounded up. Is that already? It is.
Yep.
I think.
And then Garish, I got. No, I need to Garish.
Half of your proficiency bonus to dexterity. Yeah. Or to dexterity, strength, and con.
Let me reveal everyone's rolls. Yeah, and
None of the cons, not saves.
30, 20.
Or checks, not saves.
Yes, I did half good.
yeah, no, but here's the thing: everybody rolled plenty high. So, despite the unpleasant nature of being in such a, it's not dust, it's spores, but dusty in terms of feeling, this damp and dark and dusty place.
Must.
You all seem to be doing just fine.
Boy,
Not quite
howdy,
like-
I love breathing grain air.
Also, this will be you'll be coughing up the side now. You breathe pressure for once.
Yeah,
Or
it's the
again,
kind of thing
couple
where
hours.
you're breathing in concrete dust and you know it's gonna suck, but you're just powering through for the moment. Kind of the equivalent. But in any case, it doesn't take you long to. I'm just gonna send us back to the archipelago map.
Okay.
Leave this cave.
Remounting your, well, triceratopses and giant tiger for your guide, you continue to make your way through the cave and out of the mountains. It takes another hour or so. Oh, while the first tunnel you went through was run down and decrepit in many ways, this one seems to have been hit far worse. There are signs that large amounts of water come through here periodically. Much of the ground, which had, in some parts of the first tunnel, still been tiled or otherwise consistent floor, here is rough and broken, with bits of carved material dotting certain areas where they've piled up in low-lying places. The ceiling is, while still covered in stalagmites and stalactites all over the place, significantly more messed up. The first cave, while it was a natural ceiling, was still vaulted intentionally. Someone had carved it into a shape, and natural weathering had broke it down. Here, the ceiling varies between several feet tall in areas that appear to have half collapsed to maybe 30 to 70 feet, like up to 70 feet above you in large areas where a chunk of the ceiling is collapsed and you have to go up and over the debris. Ultimately, though, despite the difficulties of getting some rather large animals, I almost said mammals, they're not mammals, they're dinosaurs, through here, you are able to traverse your way out, and you arrive on the edge of the mountains on the opposite slope. Before you, you see thick, impenetrable jungle, just as you did before. But you all breathe a little sigh of relief, and you notice that your guide, Ink, seems to be particularly thrilled to finally be out of such a place, as he never seemed to be fond of being in that. Yeah, the vape tunnels, I just saw that. Never seemed to be fond of being in that city to begin with. He kind of looks at you with a grin like, alright, guess we get going now. Got a couple more hours for the break. I will say, this area more highly populated, more risk of us running into the locals. That's why we have the silk. Best case, we run into my tribe. They're here. Might be good. Any oh, if it comes to a peaceful interaction, Miss Scratch, do not
Yes.
talk to the young males. Cultural thing, men and women are separated. Men need to kind of prove themselves before they're allowed to choose a mate. You don't want their attention.
Got it.
The older warriors who wear jewelry on their neck, those are fine. Talk to them all you want. Not the young ones.
Understood.
And you continue to make your way through the jungle, passing by multiple. Trying to think of how I want to describe this. You make your way down the slope of the mountain, kind of traversing it sideways along what looks to be a very heavily overgrown road. In some places, you see cobblestones that are still exposed, many cracked and dislodged from their proper position, but some areas still preserved surprisingly well, like the Roman roads of our world. As you continue to make your way down, though, you soon arrive on a much more modern trail, a all dirt, some gravel in some places trail, only about wide enough for one animal, one of your Triceratopses, to walk down, but to be fair, that is like an 10-foot wide trail at the same time. You begin making your way southbound, and you are able to move with surprising speed. Despite the heat of the day, deep down here, where the jungle seems to be taller than it was on the other side. Up in the north, it seemed to be thicker but shorter trees. Here, the vegetation is a little bit more sparse. There's a proper 3-story rainforest canopy here. Most of the life, most of the activity is up above you, in the mid-story and the upper canopy. Here, though, on the bottom, it's a lot more open, like an old forest that hasn't ever been logged. Occasionally, you'll find a spot where a giant tree has fallen, either through natural causes, or in some cases it appears a few have been cut down intentionally, their broken stumps still visible. And here, where the light is able to reach the surface, you see a veritable garden of plants growing, rapidly trying to outcompete one another and claim this valuable piece of real estate.
Looks like someone's been gardening almost.
Yes, it is. This is, what? I don't, honestly, this is part of the land that changes hands. I don't know which tribe lives here.
Gardening in this place seems like a dangerous prospect.
I think he meant logging. She.
Same. Both seem like dangerous prospects.
Everything, well, when it comes to jungle as old as this, everything was kind of gardening in the end. That's it.
And
Yeah,
assuming the tribe has been here long enough, I would say it's just second nature to them.
Yes.
I would assume the dryad doesn't like it when you cut down its trees.
Well, people know better than to cut down dryad trees. Stay away from the groves. They don't care if you cut down some random tree somewhere in the woods. They understand nature has its balance. The trees fall on their own. Occasionally, we need to take them for our uses. Don't fuck with their trees.
And also don't mess with any, tree that has markings on it. Those are very specific.
What markings are you referring to?
Well, there was a few dead trees back in the cast that basically had, markings that you could navigate by, and you didn't have the stars or the sextant to navigate by.
I will say, there are no trees anywhere near Nokas. It is a
I know.
fucking desert.
I know.
Yeah. There's
I know.
canyons if you know that, but yeah.
Well, it would still be like,
There's
full
some-
on petrified shit.
Yeah, there's petrified trees throughout in the desert, and down in the river valley below the city, there is some woody vegetation, but maybe some willows and things like that that are able to just suck up the water down there. Not much in the way of forests. You have to go north or
Uh,
west or east, I guess. Well, not a lot in the mountains, but mostly northwest of you, you'll find forest.
yeah, but most of the trees that US is taking out are wild has been petrified.
Yeah. No, and they can prove usable markers. The problem more is the sandstorms resurfacing the desert every couple days.
Uh,
They are frequent. But in any case, I thought you were going to be making a reference to like the King's Timber or something, and I was like, what?
no,
Like,
I was talking more of no, Native Americans had short trees that end up angles.
yeah, that's true as well. You don't seem to be seeing anything of that nature though. Around here, most of these trees are enormous, well over 100 feet tall. Some of them pushing 200, with trunks maybe 30 feet across. Larger than any you've seen in your life, in fact. These towering behemoths just dominate the landscape, and even though there are smaller trees that kind of sit between them, each one seems to be kind of its own ecosystem of sorts, its own specific node of this environment. Excuse me. As you continue making your way down through the valley, well, not through the valley, down through the foothills, you eventually reach a more low-lying area where there's a large, not a stream, a large river barring your path. To one side, you see a long, well, to one side, you just see a long river winding its way up towards the higher mountains. To the other, it seems to slowly widen out into a great lake. On the very distant shore, still many miles from where you are, but from this little bit of vantage, you can see what looks to be wisps of smoke rising from a single mountain in the distance. A mountain that is larger than many of those around you, and that appears to be missing its peak, as if it's just cut off at some point.
So is it like the wisp of smoke, like a grayish smoke, or is it like a black, almost
Black,
cold smoke?
blackish smoke, smoke of industry, visible
Like,
even from here, more than 30 miles away. Well, more than 30, in fact.
hmm,
As you kind of pause. Well,
I guess
part
that's
of it's
doing hold.
yes, that's the mountain it is in. Dernhold is the lower city. The upper city is. I won't bother you with the name, you'll never pronounce it. Mostly because I have to go look at the thing to remember what it's called.
So what did they build it at the mountain?
Dwarf things.
Uh,
The reason the weasel there, the Tabaxi people, was because of the lake. It was good water, good soil.
uh,
Chiapas, we built floating rafts, sort of pontoon bridges throughout. Eventually, they turn into proper islands when you grow enough things on them in time. We've slowly been taking over more and more of the lake. The dwarfs, when they came, they were refugees. You see, they had fled conflict in their homeland to the north. Dolos, they call it. This is
uh,
long before my time, but when they came here, they appealed to certain ancient traditions we hold. That is, refugees must always be given shelter. People who are desperate must always be cared for. They came with no pretense. It was not an invasion, it was a desperate plea for help. And so the elders of the great clans, which had at this time formed the city, chose to allow them in. And that was, little over 400 years, no, little under 400 years ago. In that time, they have become part of the culture, merged together. And so, it is a unique society, really. The dwarves mostly live in the lower city, but some live in the upper city, and some of the Tabaxi live up in the lower city, and vice versa. It is a dual government. The dwarves have their own, the Tabaxi have their own, and they are equal branches. The only island where, honestly, outsiders arriving didn't fuck things up.
yes.
to be fair, we were the best prepared. When that elven explorer came so long ago, he attempted to land here, and we drove him from the shore.
Was
He
it
went over
the
to
Elven? That is the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yes, the deer, that man. He wanted to land here because it's better island, frankly. Or at least I am biased, but you know. But we were not welcoming to outsiders coming to assert their control. So instead he went to the island you now know as Gardan. And split the city there. And in time killed off most of the Yuan Ti who once lived there. More came after him. The people who came to Castor, more elves. That island was once home to Grung and Tabaxi and Yuan Ti and every mix. No natives live.
Elven Lancaster.
There were, yes. Tabaxi, we traveled the islands frequently. Every island that was worth living on had some population.
Mm,
The Yuan Ti mostly settled on Gurdan. They liked the large island with the wetter climate. We built our cities on this island.
Because okay, his phase why Castor feels gives me the pity frollies, as some would
Yeah.
say.
He actually just kind of turns and spits on the ground. It's like, those lords over there decided to remove the native problem, as they call it. Killed off literally every man, woman, and child of all of the native races, and then brought in and those from other islands for slaves. And nothing has changed since. The foreign nations turn a blind eye to it for how profitable it is. At least on Gurdan, they got rid of slavery. Only took them 350 years to do so. The little islands, frankly, never hosted a big population. Like Twin Lakes was a big island at some point, but it was home to a small tribe or two, and the humans who came there, they came much later. Largely just pushed them to the side. There was not much conflict, it was more there were more of them, and so the locals came back here, resettled Durhamshire.
Okay.
Summercrest was similar story to Castor, though they never really fell into slavery in the same way. That island's always been directly controlled by the Republic cities from Eastern Ancaria. Less private control, like you see with Castor.
So how much further do you think we have before you're within a decent walking distance?
We have about another day's travel. We'll make it as far as we can tonight, and then we will make camp. And from there, we should make it by midday tomorrow.
So long as we don't run into any tribes.
At least the Angkor ones, anyway.
Mhm.
Even then, of course, there are traditions, there are rules. We brought the silk for that reason. Can I get a perception check from everyone?
Oh god.
Reception.
Boy. Oh, god. I wish to be blind. I don't want to see shit.
Nope. Not quite. Garrus, do you want me to roll for you? Ghost?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I thought the wife had the mic on the phone on. Apparently not.
Oh, you got a 17.
Oh,
So-
nice.
I'm not gonna bother rolling for everybody because you're the people here.
Mhm.
As you continue making your way through the jungle, things seem to be going smoothly. There isn't much in your path, really. In fact, it seems quieter than you'd think. When you were in the less touched areas up north, you saw a lot of smaller animals, everything from tapirs to bugs to small mammals moving about, birds absolutely everywhere, snakes, lizards, other reptiles and amphibians cruising about the place. Most made way for your caravan, of course. The large, thunderous footsteps of the creatures you're riding certainly served to scare them away, but they were present. Here, things are a bit quieter. The birds and the monkeys and such creatures do howl from the canopy and sing their songs, but down here on the forest floor, it's much calmer.
Was it eerie calm or
It's a little unsettling. While the noises of the jungle are there, they're quieter, dimmed, as if nature is kind of hiding from something. None of you rolled high enough to notice, but as you turn to clearing, you see all around you individuals emerging from the brush, from the tree, from up in the trees, from behind you and in front of you on the road, bows drawn. You see a whole war host of probably 40 tabaxi standing around you at all sides. Weapons at the ready, but clearly not immediately attacking. And Ink just kind of throws himself, "We wait!" and immediately jumps down and begins walking over towards one of the tabaxi, which seems to have stepped out. You see this very large tabaxi, looking similar to Ink, though instead of a traditional tiger pattern, he's like an albino tiger. He has black stripes on white fur. Not very good at blending into the jungle, but definitely very distinctive. And much like Ink, he's larger than most tabaxi males, standing probably almost 6.5 feet tall with a broad form. On one side, you see what appears to be a club studded with obsidian like blades built into it along both sides, along each flat side of the sword-like device. While on his back, there seems to be a large bowstring. And you see as Ink walks up to him, he gives this very stern expression, and they begin to converse. A little bit too far away for you to truly hear. QS, you attempt to try and follow what they're saying, but they're speaking very quickly, and while you know the same language, it is a very different dialect that you speak. This is...
well, also he's speaking in the trade language probably, which is mixed of tabaxi.
He's not actually speaking in the trade tongue. He is speaking in Phelan. And you're catching every third to fifth word. And it becomes pretty clear pretty quickly these individuals know each other. And the war party around you begins to... And as the leader of this group kind of steps back from Ink for a moment, he just shouts out a command into the group, to the others, and they all begin to descend from their perches and kind of come out into the open, putting their weapons away and clearly treating you as much less of a threat. And Ink turns back and is like, "We had to run into friends at some point. Come here."
Yes, the sound of a tree.
Goodness, that happened before Turbius had a chance to act dumb.
Turbius has just been shamed into silence at this point.
This guy's like a teeth as the other back. That's right.
For the giant purple baby roll, he's gone. He's gone. He's not there anymore. He'll come back at some point.
The source, the Australian monster took his source code away.
Source code away. He's just a pink error message. He's just a floating red error message.
Oh dear lord. It's okay, Bubba. It's okay.
Oh, you have the dogs with you on your vacation?
Yes.
That QS grabs
We're gonna be down
self.
here till like Monday morning, so yeah, we can't leave the dogs home. We don't have a babysitter.
Makes sense.
QS grabs the self that he has. Practically was in pretty inventory, let's say.
Yeah. As As you in particular begin walking, you see some of the warriors on either side, and the first thing you notice is that it is a mix of male and female tabaxi. There are both men and women present, and they seem to be sticking more with their own genders. The women also seem to be carrying themselves with more authority in this group. And as you walk closer, you do realize that the individual that Ink was actually speaking to is not a male, but another woman. Many of the younger men, though, seem to be following you with rapt attention and keep whispering to each other, and you're starting to realize your more, to them at least, exotic appearance might be drawing some attention.
Oh, Kiwa is a desert cat, not a jungle cat.
Yes, you are an attractive young tabaxi woman, and they are noticing this. The other thing you notice is that they all seem to have the same tattoo along their right shoulders, basically where the deltoid is. And interestingly, it's more like a brand. There's a patch where the fur just grows differently and is of a different color. Maybe like a freeze brand would be the better comparison. Instead of being the normal pattern, it's actually stark white. Not sure how they do this, but they all seem to have the same intricate geometric design. The same one.
Grass touch.
Ink on Skin
And some metal.
Yeah, the same one that Ink on Skin actually has on his shoulder. The women, though, don't have a tattoo. Instead, they wear a metal band on their right arm, like an armband embossed with the same pattern. Interesting difference. The metal, though, appears to be gold. I take it everyone's coming?
Yes.
Cautiously.
Yeah. As you all walk up to the front, some of the warriors, or more senior-looking males and the women, seem to kind of form in behind you, but they're not showing any overtly hostile action. It's more just general curiosity and, keeping an eye on this group of unknown travelers as they go to talk with the person leading the war party. As you get up there, you do see that there's... Corky Scratch, you in particular notice there's something of a resemblance between the two, between your guide, Ink on Skin, and this individual in particular. Maybe familial, though not a close relative, maybe a cousin. That same sort of, they got the same eyes, they got some of the same patterns, that sort of similar nature to them. Doesn't seem to relate to any of the others, though. As you walk up, she turns to address you. So then, Ink has told me you are the ones being brought to the city. I know he was becoming soon. After all, our parents were looking for him. Or his parents.
That is correct.
Where are you from? You do not smell of these jungles, and had someone been born with your pattern, they probably would have been sent off to the shamans as an oracle. Desert cat.
I am from the Cass.
But to the east, I assume. Interesting. I am Deft Strike, leader of this war party of the Three Waters clan. You met here my somewhat strange, though still welcome cousin Ink on Skin. It's a good thing you ran into us. Some of the rival nations have been making trouble in this area. You would not want to run into them. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how I wanted to do this voice. It's been 3 weeks.
You all?
What was that, old man?
I'm trying to audio figure out why fucking audio picking you guys up.
Well, now it's not even picking you up well.
Yeah, the speakers are at the bottom of my computer, so it's like, ugh. Wish I remembered my headset, but
Do you have just earbuds anywhere?
nope. I was literally going to be here for one night. I fucking forgot. Okay. We went fucking, like, they put the vanity in, they put the toilet in, they finished up some of the tiles, then we went fucking shopping for couches. You think I remembered it was fucking D&D?
I didn't.
It has been a renovation time. I'll just switch voice activity. This is the only way I can do this.
Did you just see us all in a call and went, oh, right.
No, I was playing on my fucking Switch, and then I was like, I went and checked my phone, Because, I was just like, I'll check my phone, and then I noticed 2 messages from you and Tristan. I was like, huh? It's like, oh yeah. Yeah, I was paying fully fucking attention. I'm playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, man. I was in that shit. Yeah, push to talk is the best I got. So we'll just stick with that.
All right. Well, she was asking you what you were trying to say, but I guess it was just trying to get your mic fixed. Is what you were trying to say.
Oh my god, can they not hear me? I'm not losing my voice yet, am I?
No,
Shit.
we can hear you just fine, old man. You are a peculiar one to come here. Most of these other travelers with you are young. What brings someone of such an advanced age along with such youngsters?
Oh, I'm just tagging along. It looks like they were having a fun time. Not really any more complicated than that.
She kind of looks between you and them and goes, like you and the rest of them, like looks back to Ink, who just kind of shrugged. He's like, moving on. We've got Dragonborn.
Oh.
We've had Dragonborn, a human, 2 greenskins.
Oh,
The most obvious Fae I think I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying something, because I know your partner, she says, turning to Ink, who's... Tabaxi don't usually visibly blush, but there's a distinct facial expression that can
Fine.
occur.
I knew he was married to that thing.
I don't think he tried to hide it.
Wait, you met her?
we met his sister-in-law.
We ran into
Oh,
an
man,
in-law in the forest.
Right.
He met Jenna. Oh, so Gina. Sorry. My confusion.
In any case, we must get moving. The Shallow Hills clan has been particularly aggressive this season. The reason we were here is that we had rumors of a war party heading this way, and most of you look like you've already seen battle. As a friend of the tribe, we must keep you safe now. Come.
Mount your beasts and follow us quickly. And you see, as they all kind of turn to go, they wait until you all board on your beast, but then they begin moving with great speed. And Corky Scratch, you are familiar with how fast you can move and how fast Tabaxi are in general, but these individuals are just flying through the terrain, just bounding from place to place, occasionally swinging from vines, climbing trees, and jumping between them. It is a remarkable feat of agility and just non-stop acrobatics as they move their way through the jungle with the terrain. Basically jungle parkour. Constant jungle parkour.
Hey, parkour masters!
Yeah. And you're moving at a decent clip. In fact, they start to gain ground before realizing you're falling behind and slowing down a little bit. And eventually you find your way to what looks to be a temporary camp of some sort. There's a palisade that's been erected in between probably 4 of the particularly large trees. And about 60 feet off the ground, you see a large platform has been constructed. Dangling from which are several ladders that drop to platforms that are a little bit lower down, more up on the trees, kind of like watchtowers. And on the ground properly, you also see a couple of temporary structures that remind you a bit of Ink on Skin's house, though far less refined. Simple structures of planks drilled into the ground and wooden platforms inside to keep off of the soil. And here you see another dozen or so individuals who all kind of start... With the exception of the guards stationed up in the 4 lower platforms, everyone just kind of starts gathering in like, who are these outsiders? Who are these individuals here? In the center of this little compound, there is a large cooking fire with several metal pots boiling away with some sort of unknown food of a kind or drink, you don't know. As everything is just kind of gathered here. And you see a couple of the individuals quickly come up to try to speak to Death, or yeah, her name is Death Strike, literally. Suffice to say, she kills people. Come up to her and seem to ask questions. Again, QS, you're starting to, through exposure, if nothing else, get a little bit more experience, but ultimately you still find it very hard to follow this conversation, despite them all speaking effectively the same language as you. And you do also notice a couple of, at some point, as some of the younger males kind of make their way like near you, you see Deft actually just turn and glare at them, and they all shrink away immediately, just not wanting to cross paths with her. What's your insight check?
Basically, to use basically what's the ability to learn some languages, you know, it's partially
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
and
So
try.
you don't. While you
In
can't grab the full meaning, you do get snippets. Like it's like you hear one of them. Tabaxi asks, "Are they hostages? Are they?" It's like no, they are guests. It's like, where did Ink find? And then you hear another group. Where did Ink find such individuals? I
Hey,
don't know.
find these weirdos.
They came. Someone said they came from up north. They must have come
uh,
by ship. They're not from here. Look at how much the golden one is sweating. I didn't even know the dragons could sweat. Why does the Minotaur look like he just stepped on something sharp? Did you see the desert cat? Never seen him. Never seen a female like that.
Hmm.
Why are her boobs so big? I don't know.
Milk.
well, it's could also because of the armor too.
Potentially. You're not wearing much armor, though, to be fair.
Of all
Well,
the
the-
languages,
well, the
I did
armor-
not choose Felinid.
Well, the armor was from a certain captain.
This is true, yeah. Oh, I forgot you're wearing her armor.
It's not his. It's not QS's choice.
Yeah, you've
I
got
do
full
remember that.
top cleavage showing. I forgot. You're wearing a fucking leather armored corset. That's
It seems like you're the popular one here.
Hey, you can understand that, old man?
No, but they seem to be talking a lot and looking at you, and I'm assuming. I've been around the block many times,
all of you
kid.
can notice that, especially some of the younger males do seem to be kind of looking at, or occasionally just straight up pointing at QS and just kind of whispering to each other.
I'm pretty sure I heard
Been
that
around the
one
block.
once.
This is not anything new for me. The youngsters are always like this.
I'm pretty sure if they were a little more ballsy, they'd be trying to hit on you. But I think the
Well, the
other
one in
trying-
white over there seems to be in charge, so.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Ink
she-
walks up and says,
she might
Ink
try
walks
to
up
skin.
and yeah, Ink actually walks up and says, they won't because they know the place. I informed Deft that you were a friend, and don't take this the wrong way. I said you were my woman, just so they would leave you alone.
What?
They know better not to fuck with.
Oh,
But
quite
if
the
it was just
claim.
you- Look, you do not need to be a partner to be claimed in that sense. Protected is an element of society. Women are our leaders, to be true. But it can lead to the men, the younger ones who have not yet earned their keep and been allowed to actually court the females being a little pent up in general. It can be a little problematic.
Understood.
Yep. As the night goes on and the drink comes out, be wise. You'll probably hear far worse things.
There's alcohol
Oh.
involved. Oh no.
Always.
Oh, shit. We're gonna get smashed.
Try to limit the intake for those three. Pointing back at the two dragonborns and the fucking barbarian.
We will be in our own. We'll be at our own fire tonight. We will be with the Eftons, maybe one or two of the more senior warriors. They want our information. Just be smart. They won't. If they give you too much attention, stand up to them. Make them know their place. They'll fuck off. Don't encourage it, because then they'll never leave.
Mm,
The problem will more than likely be the fighting that may break out when those guys get drunk.
Hmm.
Well, that's just a problem solved in itself, son.
If the quartermaster doles out enough for them to get drunk, they need to be hung from a tree and killed. We can't take that risks during war.
Us, they might overserve, but that's because we're guests and we're not expected to fight. Well, they might expect me to fight, but not the point. By now, it is approaching the. I won't say early, but late evening. The time has slowly been wearing on you, and you realize just how long you were actually moving through the jungle. Between your journey underground, when you started at the temple, your grand encounter you had there. I will say it's been long enough that everyone could take a short rest if they'd like to get some hit points back and recharge abilities.
Please.
Yeah, you want to use hit die, Garish?
Yes, please. I know I was fucked up from that fight.
I'll use 4 hit die for you.
Thank you.
Nothing I really get from short rest. I'll just wait.
I don't even remember if
If you're injured, you
injured.
yeah, you didn't take a, you didn't even
Yeah,
get a scratch
I
in
didn't
that
get.
fight.
I didn't really use any abilities. I really just used my items to kill people.
You just beat people with things. That was one of my favorite fights we've ever had. It was so chaotic.
I slathered somebody with ointment.
I
And helped
enjoyed.
somebody up. That's about
He
it.
smoke bombed the
Is it-
entire fight.
Is it bad that I enjoyed the part where I was controlled by the fucking
No,
Oh,
absolutely
dude,
not.
it's so much fun. It's
That is
so
that
much
is like
fun.
one of the most fun things to do in D&D is you gotta be
That's
like,
where-
all right,
that's
now
where-
I gotta fuck with my friends. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and you're told
Mhm.
not to hold back, so you're just like, fuck it.
It's just me as the you get an experience, like a little taste of being the DM for a change. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was enjoying targeting the fucking spellcasters who knew that I would be targeting them.
And the
Mhm.
whole time I had my own little one-on-one fight.
Yeah, you were having a one-on-one with the really big dude, and neither of you was hitting the other. It was kind of hilarious.
It was a comedy act.
I was the one dodging him like it was nothing. Then that Triceratops came in and just kind of finished the deal.
Yeah, they were. I probably didn't need to have them arrive when they did, but it was amusing.
Still played out in our favor, so it's fine.
Oh yeah,
A little fun.
it got pretty hairy for a bit there.
Yep.
But I ultimately knew I balanced it out right with the number of enemies.
Now I gotta figure out how I can roll Sebastian to also be a support. Like, I gotta figure out
Port
multi-class.
file, yes.
Yeah. What multi-class or anything would work best?
Well, to be fair, we did just decide champion because it was the thing that was ready. But if you want to switch your fighter class, I got no issues doing that. Or I think you chose
Roll
champion, right?
I don't think so, because champion was like you choose that at like what? What level? Look, I don't remember.
Level 1 for fighters.
Yeah, I don't remember if we like actually chose it. I don't know. We're just rolling with it. I don't know. I'll multi-class if I really fucking want to. Nothing stops me from doing that.
Like sticky stuff in your
And like I already have my multi-attack, so I can multi-class and still be perfectly fine, unlike some individuals.
What? It's good queso, ain't it? Fucking Mexican place is actually really good. Despite the name.
So,
The name was El Diablo.
Okay.
Yep.
There, I feel like I've been.
Cheese is awesome.
Yeah. They only made one mistake with us, with our order.
I feel like every time I order Mexican, there's an error of some kind too.
Well,
That's
They
what
gave-
makes it
More
authentic.
tacos.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
they gave us the wrong quantity of an order, so they gave two orders of this like fried taco style thing that Waya ordered instead of the 2 quesadillas that I ordered.
Mm.
Because she ordered like a fried taco looking thing. And yeah, hush. and an order of street
I
tacos.
did have dinner.
Yes, yes. You're giggling at fucking fried taco.
It's 9:20 p.m. on a Saturday, so some places are still open. Is Flacco's still open? Probably not. There's a place near me called Flacco's Tacos. Well, they close at 10, so I should be able to order, yeah.
Sounds like a joint that.
They're only like a mile from me, but a mile in Chicago is like a fucking distance.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a freaking stoner place.
Well, it's 420 Eve, so.
Yeah, exactly.
420 Eve.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it.
The night before Snoop Dogg breaks into my house and gives me a gram.
You
So
have to,
many people.
No. You have to leave a joint out for Snoop
fucking
Santa.
rad.
For Snoopy Santa.
Snoopy Santa fun.
You gotta leave it on a windowsill.
Let's remember for a moment that Snoop Dogg did play Santa in the ERB.
Yep.
No, you gotta leave. You gotta leave one on the windowsill closest to the road.
Yeah, you have to leave out a single rolling paper and just a little bit of weed.
Wake up and
You can roll it yourself, or you can just leave it plain. It's fine, and it will always be gone in the morning. That's the crazy part.
Mm-hmm.
Then your dog's acting weird.
dog's having a wild day. Anyways,
Ooh, hang on. I'm sorry. I'm ordering a barbacoa burrito because that sounds good.
Oh god.
Mexican food is the best.
I'm getting it on Grubhub, so it's gonna be like $20, but fuck it.
Mm.
With the delivery fee, driver tip. That was $18.56 with a 20% tip. There we go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see how long that takes to get here. I went out and got a burger for lunch, so I'm fine. Yep. Yeah. I'm ordering it 40 or 37 minutes before the place closes, so no one's gonna be mad about me ordering it. That's one thing I try and consider. I try not to order up to like half an hour before a place closes because no one wants late orders, but that kind of shit, like 40 minutes out, no one cares. KJ, can you agree to that statement?
Peace of mind.
I wouldn't spit.
If your delivery driver gets there on time, yeah, we know it doesn't matter. But when we're waiting on them and then we still have to wait on those fuckers at like 9:20, like 20 minutes after closing, then it's an issue.
Yeah, but I figure with 40 minutes to go, they're going to be there in time.
Yeah, and if they're not, we're not remaking your food. Fuck you.
Yeah, I figured that much.
Go get your refund, assholes.
Yeah, they're making it now, and they haven't assigned a driver yet, but they're saying delivery between 9:47 and 10:02. So by the time it gets to me, which is a 10-minute drive, it should be at most 2 minutes after the place closes, so we should be good. Anyway, moving on while I wait for my burrito.
Yep.
The rest of the day kind of passes uneventfully. And as the evening draws in, you watch as the guards kind of change out. A new group of individuals goes up into the towers, and you all ascend to the upper platform. For Garish and Quirky Scratch, our experienced climbers, it's a pretty straightforward process. Turbius elects to stay on the ground this night. The Dragonborn make their way up, with Torin having to use his wings to kind of half assist him at some points, but you are able to eventually get your way up onto the platform, and you find that it's actually covered in like a thick layer of like banana leaves, like this kind of padding on top of this wooden platform, and that there seems to be kind of communal sleeping areas around here, but also raised fire pits. Basically large clay basins set on top of kind of piles of sand or log stumps that people are starting small fires in. And as you gather around the largest one here, a small group of individuals joins you. And rather than role-playing this out, because it's not going to play as much, here is what was going to happen with War here. Because this was his exit from the campaign. Some of these individuals recognize the crest on his armor and ask him about it. And they mention having seen a group of individuals bearing that seal come through recently. a large number of Dragonborn, and a single Goliath woman. And they agreed to take Valgoris to see them, or try and find them. That was where I had the exit, and that's why I'm kicking myself for it. Not the last session, but the session before, where we got so fucking off track that we lost half an hour. Because if we'd gotten through and started that fight and been able to finish it in time, we could have gotten to this, and he could have had his smooth exit. But we will say that for the sake of how this goes, that is what happens with Balgoris. And starting in the next morning, he departs the party to go off with these other Tabaxi to try and find survivors from his group. But before that, or during, Sanador, after, doesn't really matter the time too much. Doesn't really matter the time too much. You all gather around the fire, and as a couple of individuals come up and light it, you'll notice that Deft is not one of the individuals doing any of the actual work at this point. And you are soon presented with skewers. Some of them are covered in meat or vegetables, others just vegetables, some fruit meant to not be eaten raw. Basically, you're having a kebab party.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, they put kind of a thin metal grate over the fire in kind of a tripod shape, and you can lay your skewers over them depending on what you want to eat.
Oh, great. Can I roll to see how charred I make my food?
You can if you'd like to. I would say
let's
this
do
would be
it.
an intelligence check.
You want
I was
intel?
going
Alright.
to say.
I was just gonna
Or
roll
correction. It is a survival check to do cooking,
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to say it's survival.
which is based on intelligence, so
Yeah.
or wisdom.
random.
Sorry.
It's edible.
Yeah, no, you. If we're going on the scale of 0 or 1 is raw and 20 is burned to a fucking crisp, you cook it to a perfect medium rare.
Hell yeah.
This is the one roll where rolling a 10 was ideal. Lotus, you too have cooked a very nice skewer. I guess if everyone cooked your skewers, fuck it.
Yay.
Were you scratch? Everyone's just slow. How long are we gonna get incremental? Come on, next
Yeah.
person, roll 13.
Please have Turbius roll. I want him to get a natural 20.
Turbius is on the floor.
Turbius is
Cook.
on the floor, but meanwhile,
Someone
Yeah,
throw him a
meanwhile,
skewer.
meanwhile with Turbius,
Can't see.
his is a little well done.
You'll have to roll for me. So
All right, Garish, let's see. I don't know how
I'm
we've
just
ended up.
imagining this massive, like 8-foot tall, like minotaur.
Oh no,
just like looking
Garish,
over
you
at-
lost focus. You rolled a
Oh
23.
dear. I burnt it to a crisp.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You at least you grabbed one of the vegetable ones, not the meat. And people kind of eye you like, pay attention, dude.
No, it's good. You just eat around the burn.
Now Lotus gives you hers and begins just making another one, I imagine. While gently berating you.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the
Usual.
core of your relationship in game.
Right.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm a little concerned I haven't assigned a driver to my food yet. But anyway, as you gather around, honestly, I'm trying to
Everybody's
refocus
too
myself.
high to drive.
I'm a little high, but not. I shouldn't have been. I also didn't have a ton prepared for this section because I was planning on just getting into the city soon, but we're not gonna have time. One moment.
You got this. Don't worry, boss.
Mhm.
Sorry, just give me a second.
You are fine.
I was thinking while picking part of the now dried off and just scabbed over blister from my hand.
Yeah.
It's not actually scabbed over, it's just dead skin on top of mostly healed skin. So I think that the one on my... It's interesting, because the part that was up on my hand looked worse, but it's definitely the less severe burn.
Feed it to Icarus.
He doesn't eat... He only eats his own skin.
Is inverted
Loving my
cannibalism?
minion.
Well, they do it to recover the calcium. If snakes could, they would do it.
Mhm.
Their mouths don't really work that way.
Maybe if their shedding had some nutrients in it, they could just eat that.
It does. It's just mostly calcium.
Well, then they should eat themselves. It'd be delicious.
They
It's
do
like
that
drinking milk.
They get confused and try and do that sometimes. Snakes do do that.
Yeah, this is then when they make a circle. This is
Yeah, an Ouroboros.
yeah.
That Keyless continues to listen to the conversations around her to try and see what people are saying.
Here, it's settled down quite a bit. The actual... You're getting a little less attention. You're currently sitting at the fire with the leader of this group. So suffice to say, people are not being so open.
Idelina,
Most of what you're hearing is... Some conversation is towards your group and kind of questioning like how you ended up out here and that sort of thing. Most of it is more talking about the actual war that is ongoing and the actual conflict the tribe is having. And there we go, last big piece. Perfect. And you do eventually, as you kind of finish your dinner, Deft kind of turns to you and says, "So, you came from north, right? Did you run
there's
into any of the other tribes while you were there?"
no, the I had to take a shortcut through the ruins.
Her eyes, she kind of focuses that. "You went through the city?"
Mm,
She says, just kind of turning to ink. It's like, "The road was gone, it was our choice. Had to fight a worm, then hide in the city overnight, and then there were elephants everywhere. And then we ended up killing an entire Myconid colony today, mostly on accident." Huh. Well, on that note, we have not had any other issues with Myconids, so you shouldn't have to worry about that at least. What we have been dealing with is two of the other clans. There are a couple dozen that inhabit this part of the jungle. Most of them are either allies or friends, less problematic to us. Even during the campaign season, we normally just leave each other alone. Recently, however, two different tribes from the west seem to have either allied or one has absorbed the other. We've seen members of both the Broken Hill clan and the Sallow Valley clan working together, and they have been highly aggressive. They've taken some of the men and women from the southern villages hostage. We've attempted to broker a truce with them, try and do an exchange, but they are not cooperating in that regard. But that is after war. We will do our best to try and figure out what to do. But if, when you are done with your business in the city, this is not resolved, we may call on you for assistance there. Third parties, while not always given the most respect, are a neutral example. You have already proven yourselves capable should it come to violence. But that is a problem for another day. Sunika was around enough to message Dragon.
Oh,
Anyone have
Caught
questions?
red-handed.
Huh?
Caught
Anyone have anything to
red-handed.
say? Like I'm running out of dialogue for this moment.
So-
Not-
Yeah, I like being a diplomatic. That's fun. That's like part of religion.
Can be. Yours is a faith of war, but sometimes war needs to stop, and there needs to be peace.
It's always a good backup answer.
Not sure how good that we would do, but who knows?
As
We would-
long as Turbius ain't leading the charge.
Seriously.
Well, having after and counter making the table. He doesn't do it again, but he is a barbarian after all.
Yes. Well, he's also a coward when it comes to heights, it seems. Chose to stay on the
Yeah.
ground.
But he's not so good at climbing.
Mm. Everyone has their own skill set, of course. Personally, I've never seen a minotaur. Doesn't surprise me they can't climb with those hooves of theirs.
Oh, good. They assigned a driver to my order. Thank fuck.
Interesting.
Yeah,
What is this
that's-
driver that you speak of?
I'm just.
I'm
off.
just fucking with you.
In any event, you can rest here safely for the night. We'll, in the morning, depart as soon as you are able. We are moving camp tomorrow. Your blue friend will travel with the scouts to the southwest to try and follow this new comet in the sky, and hopefully finds his compatriots. The rest of you have the better part of a day's travel to reach the city. And I will say, you did miss out on some of your potential travel by spending the day with these guys, but overall, it was still, by most respects, a successful endeavor, and it's
Oh.
definitely a safe place to stay in a jungle currently torn by war.
And also, at least he went into clan instead of
Yeah,
well,
some of the other
another
ones.
group.
Well, especially if you'd run into some of the groups that are at war with Ink's clan, they probably wouldn't have even cared about the peace offering, and that'd have been one hell of a fight.
Yeah, that would have been. I'm on firewalls. Oh fuck.
Yeah, because you guys were already pretty fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But as you bed down for the night, everyone can take a long rest.
I don't need
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I'll do it nonetheless.
Sleepy.
The wife's over here telling me to do it. And it's just like, okay,
Also,
okay.
You know, while you guys are doing your scene, I'm kind of exile. Just and have some fun.
What's up? Sorry, what?
I'm just having some fun sending you a thing. I'm just enjoying it while I'm just sitting on the side.
Yeah, back when he was young.
Almost got a Tom Cruise look.
Kinda does. It's odd 'cause it's somewhere between Tom Cruise and Henry
Yeah,
Cavill.
Yeah, it looked too young when I had it do the first time, so I was like, no, make it closer to fantasy, make it less realistic super lighting. And then it ended up with like someone that's just slightly older, and I was like, shit, that looks like Tom Cruise. need to look. Maybe in the future we'll see. We'll make some more stuff.
Yeah, we have to go back in time to see that version of you.
Oh god, we're gonna have a time travel arc. Oh no.
There's no planned one as of yet, but you're giving me ideas.
Oh no.
Or he gets splashed with the fucking reverse aging spit. Yeah, most of the time.
Some fucking creature screws with me.
I'd be really impressed if a creature be able to actually reverse age you. Like that is a fucking that'd be a fucking feat.
They try. Nothing changes.
Yeah, it's like. Well, they're trying to reverse a couple, a century, and it's like, yeah, you got a ways to go.
For the rest of the party and the children, Sebastian's still just an old man.
Yep, still an old.
Now he's just a babysitter.
Wait, what? How old are you again?
Oh,
Old.
don't worry about it.
Old enough that you don't need to be asking this question.
That is disrespectful. How dare you speak to an old man like that?
You tell him, boy.
I thought those normally women that you don't. That's the age about.
That's
Respect your
sexist. How
elders.
dare you?
Learn his age. Keep him in suspense.
But we'll
just a
bed
dance.
down for the night. QS. Stage 5 of the uppermost hammocks. And we have allotted
A little bit of space. Ink actually sleeps in the bunk directly below you to head off any unwanted attention you might receive, though you do feel safe here amongst this group, as your compatriots sleeping in the bunks around you make quite the obstacle.
Well, also, if someone does try and do that, well, let's set some tools. Tools to make
That's
it.
just you need just telekinesis. Just lower them over the edge and drop.
Or tracking grass.
Yeah, shocking grass. Yeah, taser dick. What? That is just a terrifying thing to say.
Alright, Dusty the Dragon's Breath and fucking Dusty the Uncle Iroh.
Listen. If one of them tries it, they're going to not wake up the next morning.
You are not him.
Nothing bad is going to happen. It is fine. And the night passes uneventfully. In the morning, you awaken just before dawn, and the camp is already a hub of activity. Different war parties are leading out. Balgoris soon departs with a pair of scouts for destinations unknown. And I'll message him after this to explain what happened, so he's got a vague idea. And he has now departed the game for months. He's going to be a while.
Goodbye, vampire man.
Hopefully he doesn't eat someone. Unless he's an evil person.
He has to still manage his blood points. Oh no.
He's just on deployment. He has to just tell me every day. He has to tell me what he's been hunting. I can't give him
One of the
more.
scouts.
God, I've been trying to get him to eat a person since day one.
Well, he definitely did
He's
eat a
trying to be a
person.
good vampire.
Well, more people. To be fair, he did want to eat Susanna.
And also, the first bad guy that we faced that was trying to open up a portal to.
He did eat Naylor. Yep. In any event, as the morning passes on, you soon depart, mounting up your creatures and moving on the road. The day passes uneventfully, and soon the rampant jungle gives way to a great plain where the trees have been cleared and vast fields growing all sorts of crops, but mostly maize, can be found. Smaller outlying villages line the road and can be seen off in the distance, little wisps of smoke from the chimneys of these rather interesting mix of houses. Many of them seem to be more like the jungle huts you've now started to associate with Tabaxi, and on the larger trees that are still standing, you do see hanging houses, much like the ones you saw up in Gulwyn. A more traditional style of Tabaxi home, literally hanging from the branches around as a means of safety. But a lot of them seem much more stout, built of stone and heavy timbers, much like the more rigid, utilitarian architecture you see up in Dolos, in your homeland, and Roxby. It's a little odd, just this little touch of home so far away.
Always somewhere.
Always somewhere. As you make your way further, though, you begin to see that something doesn't seem quite right. Most of the villages are shuttered. While you see individuals out and working, most of them seem to be giving, as you move by, giving you a wide berth. And even Ink seems to notice, like, something's going on here. Everyone is on edge. Why? And as you make your way around the final bend and can see the city before you... Oh shit, do I have that image? 1 second.
Do I have this picture? And then he shows us like a
Tour
picture
guide.
from his vacation.
Tour guide, please.
Where is it? Yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna. Do you want it on stream? I'll post it on stream. Yeah. Upload image. 1 second. I should have been ready.
They're fine. We got time,
Got
so.
But does his food have time to arrive before he uploads his picture?
It's on time. It's out for delivery now. The guy's walking back to the car.
I'm gonna say he's walking up my front door.
I got probably 8 to 10 minutes before he makes it here, so. I just hope he doesn't, like, half the delivery guys assume that because there's a gate, the gate is locked, and just leave it there without messaging me or anything. That's why I watch the map like a fucking hawk, because I've had people just leave the food there, and then it gets stolen periodically, so. Prefer when they use their fucking head and go up to the actual address.
I patrol my house when I order food. I just walk around it.
It's just circle the house. They're at the door knocking, and you just emerge from the bushes to one side. How's it going?
Well, you don't know how. Well, I mean, there's 2 doors to my building, so they sometimes end up on one side or the other, and other times they end up at completely different buildings. So I have to like locate their car and everything, and just calling them like, "Come on, find me, man. I'm in a red coat. It can't be that hard."
You round it and see. Actually, no. Let me use the other pictures. The other one's even better. Because I have 2 pictures for the city. As you kind of rise over a bluff, you see... Oh, come on, show me the fucking image. Teoquitla Oyetepetl is the name of this city. Teoquitla Oyetepetl. And now...
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
This is what you see.
Is it?
Oh.
It is a surprisingly advanced city. It is larger than Gradon. Multiple tiers, massive pyramidal structures, a great temple in the middle. This is actually from the Dwarven gates into the lower city, but this is the view. And a surprising amount of industry going about. It becomes clear there's a stark divide in technology and society between the jungle tribes and the tabaxi of the city. While those as you begin walking your way into the outer city, which there is no wall defending, you notice that the people here don't wear pelts and more rough clothing like you see in the tribal groups, but an interesting blend of styles. Many still wear fine furs or other such more natural materials from the jungle, but others wear imported silk or other fine cloths made far away or possibly here. You don't know enough about the culture to know their textile industry. And it is a much more diverse place. While the majority of the beings you pass by are Tabaxi or Pantheran, you also see a couple of Loxodon having a conversation near what you can only guess is a cafe. Many dwarves, most of which are not normal dwarves like you see, but actually Dwergar. Their dark blue skin, seemingly at odds and often getting burned in the sun, though currently a low layer of cloud covers most of the city from its valley in which it sits along this great lake. As you look past the actual city to one side, you see the opposite shore is covered in farms, most of which seem to be on artificial islands built into the water itself. Little bridges and floating pontoon pathways marking the paths between them. And they seem to go further into the lake, which is the same one you saw from the opposite side yesterday. This grand open water freshwater lake is slowly being consumed as the city has a greater and greater need for food production. If you couldn't tell, this place is based on Tenochtitlan, but with dwarves.
So the mountain dwarves are basically like the Irish girl on the beach trying to get tan, but just bakes
Many
instead.
of them, yes. Many of the dwarves you see are wearing heavy, like they're not heavy. They're
Wide
made of light
brim.
material, but they're wearing like hoods and like very light kind of flowy robes like you see in like Arabia in some ways, though in more vibrant, colorful patterns. patterns, many of which are even like animal print designs, clearly not made of animal skin, but there seems to be a style here. There's a lot of leopard print. It's kind of odd, actually, how much leopard print there is. But in any case, as you make your way deeper into the city, though, you begin to see that that same sort of uneasiness is also permeating here. And soon you begin to see why. On one of the islands that's on this rise you can just make out, you see what appears to be a vast tent city. Different colored splotches of fabric strung up between a couple of sturdier looking buildings and what was probably once one of the other farming islands. And you see
Refugees.
temporary barricades have been erected all around it. And docked to this island, you see a gigantic ship, the largest any of you have ever seen, with more than 9 masts, which all seem to be rigged with sails, much unlike the ones on your own ship. These have wooden battens strung between them from end to end, and are actually center mounted on the sail. I forgot the term for the rig, but junk sails. This is a Delosian trade junk, some of the largest ships that sail the ocean. And it seems that instead of goods, it has brought an enormous number of individuals, most of which, even from this distance you can see, are dirty and certainly struggling. My food is here, so I gotta go in a second.
Sure.
Yeah, so just pause with that mental imagery. Big, open Aztec city with dwarven engineering, refugee camp. God damn it. God damn it. Trying to find socks. Alright, right back.
Tent City. God, I really hate not being in my big monitor. It's just a tiny monitor. I could usually have like everything on screen at once. I could have all these images. I could have the map, the party sheets, the fucking turn counter. I could barely have anything on now.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm on a laptop because, you know, we're in a hotel right now. It also doesn't help that the internet is apparently unreliable.
Yeah, that's hotel internet view there, I guess.
This is a fucking dense burrito. Holy shit.
Sounds like my quesadilla earlier.
I hope your quesadilla shouldn't be that dense.
They stuffed this thing full of meat.
Oh, nice.
You child.
Oh, it's not hot. Okay. Okay.
Also, that's a massive junk sailed ship in this channel, so if that's the close proximity to what you're thinking of.
Big Chinese treasure ship, yeah. Think like the smaller of the ships in Zheng He's treasure fleet. Yeah. The other thing you begin to notice as you get deeper into the city is that checkpoints have been established. Guards seem to be walking around out in certain areas, preventing travel, and as you make your way trying to weave between them, you do find yourself soon stopped. They ask you, approaching you see these two Leonin individuals. Not Leonin, they actually look more like tigers. These two Pantheran individuals. It's like,
Halt. Are you from city? Don't look like it.
No, we are not from city.
And you must stay in the lower city. You must avoid... not the lower city. You must stay in the district you are in then. Travel is only for locals at this point. There's a plague spreading. The outsiders brought it here.
Hey, what type of plague?
He kind of looks at her like, are you a doctor?
Um,
Healing
it's,
person?
it's phosphorus.
I kind of shrug like, not one that we've ever seen here before. Whatever disease is from away. It's already causing a lot of mistrust for outsiders. Be cautious. Obviously, you're not the ones who brought it here, but be on your shoulders. Some of the locals are not taking kindly. It's a big disruption, and even though it's mostly killing the refugees so far, people have died. Quite a few. Must be cautious. But, as I say again, without a clearance permit, you cannot get through here.
As you wish.
Continue to man the post.
Mm,
Noodle.
Ingunskin kind of catches up with your group and says, well, this is where I part ways. I'll go take care of the mounts. They need to get returned back north soon, so I'll have to go find them lodging for a time in the city. I'll still be here for a couple of days if you need to find me. I have a place I stay at in the eastern district near the stable. I'll visit my parents, get that taken away, and possibly take them to the tribe if there's something spreading here. The city is not in living memory. It's normally just malaria.
malaria can be cured with some things. I never had it, but there's stories.
Yes, and it does not spread from person to person. It's jungle fever. They are talking about a proper plague. That is abnormal.
Have you... I've never seen such a large ship, especially on the river. If that's...
Me neither.
That-
They must have had to beach it during high tide. They must have had to beach it during a period of heavy rain. Otherwise, they could not have brought it that far up river, unless they dredged the channel again. Dredged is a really fucking hard word to say when speaking like this.
They could have, but maybe the first option is probably more likely than the latter.
The ship is damaged. It's probably not going anywhere.
No,
Not the first time this city has taken in refugees, but the last time they didn't come bearing a plague. And I am going to say we're going to call tonight's session here. I don't have a ton of content to go through here. There were no plans for other people who weren't present, so
It's fine. It's a hard week, anyways.
yeah, it's a hard week.
Just
Yeah.
this is usually when we drop off around this time of year, anyways. Kind of rolling into spring. So unsurprising, but good nonetheless. A little bit of character stuff. I wish Nico was here so we could yell at him about starting a goddamn fight with the mushrooms.
Just next time he's on, anyone sees him on, we have to just come up and everyone has to say their piece about that. Just address him as Turbius and just give it to him. Because no one will be doing it at the same time, so he'll just have a week of people fucking with him.
Well, the funny part is like,
alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this D&D session for today. It is short, but oh well. It is the weekend. If Like all things, they must come to an end.
And so too must this voice. Anywho, I'm just Longshot, signing off.